cross-country bikes have changed to beyond almost recognition in recent years.
But how much better are the new bikes? And have we lost a little bit of magic along the way?
We're going to find out, but first, a brief history lesson. The XC bike, the world's most popular mountain bike, would you believe, was built to be light, stiff and fast. It needed to climb like a rocket and descend like a granny. No, that's not fair. XC riding was just different 20 years ago. Bikes had 26-inch wheels, skinny 2.1-inch tyres, 2 or 3 by drivetrains, narrow bars, super long stems, and almost all were hardtails. In fact, it wasn't until 2008 that a full suspension bike topped a world championship podium. Specialised epic ridden by Swiss ace Christoph Sauser. Then in 2011, Pauline Ferrand-Prévot and Jaroslav Kulhavy won World Cups on 29ers. But in the last few years, tech has accelerated even further. Meaning that this absolute weapon is now classed as an XC bike. Yes, dropper post, 29-inch wheels, 120mm of travel front and back, and a 1x drivetrain. And as you can see, I'm going to be joined by guest Si Richardson from GCN. You may think of Si as a skinny-tired enthusiast who loves nothing more than tarmac, oddly named coffees and counting watts. And you'd be right, but Si also has some roots running pretty deep in the off-road world, even dipping into some racing back in the day. Si, thank you for joining me, mate. Now, sadly, much like myself, I feel like you're old enough to remember these bikes back in their heyday, shall we say. So I thought you'd be the perfect candidate to help demonstrate to our viewers at home just what they're like to ride. Yeah, well, these bikes, their heyday was my heyday. It's 15 years since my last XC World Championships. And so, yeah, this bike is frankly futuristic compared to what I was racing on. Futuristic might be a bit of a stretch, I think. So let's talk challenges. First up for you, bud, I've got a black run challenge because XC's come a long way and it's pretty technical now, mate, from your time. Apparently XC is more technical now, Rich. We'll see about that. All right, well, let's check it out and see if our vintage bike and our vintage rider here are gonna survive. Easy, Tiger. Rich, before we drop in. Yep. Drop in. That's what you say, right? Yeah, gnarly. Cool, yeah. Can I just point out a slight flaw in this test, right? Go on. You are riding an Orbea Oiz, top of the range mountain bike, dripping with the finest components known to humanity. It's all right, yeah? The bike that you've got for me, you picked up on eBay for a couple of £100, right? And even when it was new, it wasn't that good. Oh. So it's not exactly a fair test. However, I will grant you, this is illustrative of a vintage mountain bike. So that is actually pretty much like the bike that I raced back in 2007, albeit with the stems way too short, the bars are way too wide, the fork's got 40mm too much travel, and it's not got a front derailleur. Mate, I've given you an absolute weapon of a bike there. I'm expecting big things from those old school skills of yours. Come on. Shall I go first then? Yeah, I would love to follow. That'd be hilarious. Okay, mate. What are we doing? Mountain biking! Yeah! That's it, Si. Whoa, dear Lord above. Oh my Lord! That'll do me. See you, mate. Oh God. Oh! Si, keep up if you can. Come on. Come on. Oh. I reckon Si's gonna like these conditions. This is battle by through. I hear some splashing. I don't know where Si is, but I think that's him. Hold on, Si. Hold on. Easy, Tiger. Easy. Right, this bit gets pretty wild now. So I think it's something that's worth you having a look at because it's pretty indicative of what you're going to find on modern day XC races and rides. Okay, all right, let me scope it out then. You go check it out. I'm going to talk to our guys and girls at home about the modern day bikes. How long have you been here for, by the way? Hours. Hours. I've had a brew. Okay, people, so while Si goes and checks out the incredibly technical section we're about to hit next, I wanted to talk to you about the bikes. Now, modern day bikes are vastly different from their retro counterparts in many different ways. Not just the fact that I'm on a full sus 120 millimeters of travel front and rear compared to that 120 mil travel, which actually is a little bit much bike that's size riding. I've also got the bigger wheels. I've got the dropper post, wider and better compounded tires as well. It isn't all components and size of parts on bikes that have changed as well. No, it's actually their geometry as well. So they've undergone the longer, lower, slacker treatment, which is normally found all the time in your downhill and enduro world. Well, XC bikes have been given that same stretching, if you like, with head angles getting slacker, reaches getting longer, and handlebars getting wider. Gone are those days of 600 and God knows whatever bars that Si used to use, which would be good for, well, just poking something really. They're so narrow. No, now you've got proper, sturdy, controlled XC bikes, which are capable of so much more than they used to be able to.
So, there's some nice numbers there, Rich. What does that actually mean?
Okay, Si, well, back in the day, imagine your short little bikes that you're riding. You constantly found yourself pitched over the front, very difficult to move your body around. Well, these longer reach bikes mean that you're more centered within them. So actually that gives you the ability to move yourself about on the bike. As tracks have progressed and evolved over the years, the slacker head angle gives you much more stability and control on the bike.
Well, I can get down this, mate. I found a line.
Okay.
It's not the chicken route.
I'll be the judge. All the way, son. How was it?
It's like downhill trials, isn't it? You just got to like pick your line really slowly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
Good run, good run. Right, let's wait for Si. Hopefully we'll be down not too far behind. I did have to stop now and again for the old boy, but a hell of a good black run that. It's a good test. I like it. You know, real challenging, and the weather, here he is.
Woo! Mountain biking!
Should we high five?
Yeah! That's what you do, right?
That is what you do. How was that? So that's a black run done and dusted. I'd say on the top end of how hard things can be, but certainly something that this bike is more than capable of doing. How was it on that?
Well, it was fun. Let's not be around the bush.
Okay.
It was really good fun, but it's fun in a different way to riding a modern mountain bike, isn't it? Because you're kind of getting down it more than you're going fast, if you see what I mean. And it does feel sketchy, like it's nervous, that seat up.
But we obviously need to go and have a cup of tea because it's cold and we need to dry out a little bit before this afternoon we do our XC loop, because I think it's only fair that we put these through a proper XC loop, and we're obviously going to swap bikes for a comparison as well.
Yeah, we are.
So I'm intrigued. Well, I've got a fair idea of what this is going to be like. I think you're going to have your mind blown when you ride this thing.
Yeah, I cannot wait, actually.
So how about we go dry, warm, get back out. All right, let's do it.
It still rains like it did in 2007, that's for sure. Okay, Rich, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, one timed XC lap coming up.
Okay.
Shall I do some bleeps? That's kind of how we roll on GCN.
Okay, let's do it.
Do you know about the bleeps?
I've heard of them.
Okay. Beep, 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 beep.
Mountain biking!
There you go, he's getting the hang of it. Now, I'm going to give Rich a little bit of a head start because I don't want to show him up. But whilst we wait, one thing, right? So I'm really looking forward to this lap, particularly the climb. And I know what you're thinking, blooming roadie, likes going up hills. But no, I think old school mountain bikes were brilliant at climbing. And I know the new ones are too, but the older ones felt fast. And that is a fundamental difference between these two bikes. Anyway, enough yabbering. My turn next. Beep, 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 beep. Mountain biking! Yeah!
This is where the full sus, I think, is going to come into its own. Real bumpy and that added traction. So that's my lap on the modern bike done. Let's wait for Si, swap bikes and head out again.
Oh my God. I survived. Bike survived. That's about all I can say. I was mildly terrified. Okay.
Right, Si, the bikes are swapped.
Yes.
So we've done our first runs on our own bikes, we'll call them. So it's time for second rounds.
Okay, you go. You be careful on that one, Rich, because
I'm scared.
It takes a certain degree of skill, I find, to get the best out of a...
You going to give me the beeps?
I'll give you the beeps,
Go
mate.
on, give me the beeps.
Beep, 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 beep. That's a false start. Quite a lot of controls on this bike that I've never used before. But anyway, no excuses. I'm fully locked out. I'm ready to roll. Beep, 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 beep. Oh, like a... there we go. Oh, there we go.
This thing is incredibly uncomfortable. It's not the way forward. Horrendously uncomfortable. That was one of the wildest rides I think I've had in a long time. Look, Si's not going to be long behind because he's on the rocket ship that is my bike, so we're going to wait to reveal times until he's here, I think. Let's get out the rain. See ya!
Oh my goodness me. Have I drawn the short straw all day? Rich, I'm just going to do another lap, mate. See him at the calf.
Si, we're done. We're thawed out, dried off, relatively clean.
Yeah, I still got mud in my ears.
Heck of a ride. What did you think of both of the bikes? I'm intrigued to see your thoughts.
Wow. I mean, I absolutely loved that Orbea particularly. I'm so glad that's the one I finished on because I had a huge grin. It was amazing, and the contrast between the two was really stark. But I've got to say, when I first jumped on your vintage bike, it was still cool. Like, it felt all right. It felt kind of fast and nimble and agile. It was only that my expectation was to be able to go that much quicker downhill that I found that I was terrified most of the time. Having my seat up again, forgotten about that. Like, pitched really far forward, forgotten that again. And actually, when you were talking about the geometry earlier, I was a bit like, yeah, whatever, geometry. But for real, I mean, geometry, and I'm including the wheel size in that too, right?
Yeah.
But that's a huge
and components, because obviously you're getting the seat out of the way with the dropper.
Yeah, exactly.
Monster. And obviously we can't compare bike to bike in this video. That'd be off our chops, because they're completely different eras, they're completely different types of bikes, but they are sort of indicative of the eras that they came from. So that's what we're comparing, is the eras, if you like, isn't it? And I agree, I haven't ridden a bike like our old bike in 10 plus years, thank God. And I jumped on it and I thought I was going to die. I thought I was an absolute dead man going downhill.
Yeah.
So when I got back on my Ois, I was like, loving it. It was amazing. But obviously we need to quantify how we got on here.
Yeah.
So let's talk some numbers, because we did time our little XC lap and we timed the downhill segment in it.
Can I just say, I'm absolutely petrified of you going faster than me with you on the vintage bike and me on the Ois. We just have to delete the video. It wouldn't be
No.
Come on.
So my lap times were, I was 38 seconds slower over the lap on the vintage bike.
Yeah.
The downhill portion of that on the vintage was a 1:13.
Yeah.
And on the Ois was a 1:06. What did you do it on?
Okay, so I'm so relieved. So I did 1:15 on the vintage bike.
Okay, so a couple seconds slower.
And 1:06, exactly
So the same time,
on the
amazing.
Ois, yeah. And I was 26 seconds faster over on the Ois. But I think what shocked me most, actually, is that most of my time was saved going uphill. And of course, the uphill part was longer.
Yeah.
So proportionally, it might not be as much, but it was the fact that it was simply that much quicker going uphill.
It's mind-boggling, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's insane how much difference. I mean, it's so that, for reference, the full sus is 2 kilos lighter than the hardtail.
Yeah, so that's a big factor. For sure.
So you're saving 2 kilograms straight away there.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Mine's slightly blown. I mean, yeah, it really is. The thing I can't quite escape is the fact that that vintage bike felt nice and agile, nimble, because it kind of felt like a gravel bike.
Oh.
And actually, I think that's why mountain bikes have moved on and left this gap for bikes of that ilk, and it's been filled with gravel bikes.
Wow.
Am I allowed to say that?
Well, I was just going to say, you said the G word on here.
Yeah.
No, you're right. I tell you what, let us know what you thought in the comments down below. Si, you did good to survive the day.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for taking me out.
Over the bars and that kit that you were wearing, I'm not sure what all that was about. But
No. We didn't start very well, did it? When I ended up in the bushes and you overtook me.
Yeah, like
But,
fourth
you know,
corner.
yeah.
All right, would you like to see Si or any of the other GCN lot on the channel some more? I think I would, because it was a fun day, mate.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you'd have me back, I'll do it. I'll drop everything and ride mountain bikes again.
Not my Ois, no way. All right, look, thanks for watching, everybody. Let us know what you thought in the comments down below. But we're out of it. We'll catch you next time.